Let's say, for the sake of thought experiment, he has never practiced this. He's never practiced electrics, he's never practiced wave dashes, and he just goes in and he's like, what, this is supposed to be difficult? Was this supposed to be difficult? You would still be required, in my opinion, to have social awareness enough to say, you know what, I'm really good at this stuff. I have many years of experience. This is actually easy for me, but for your average Joe who's just picking this stuff up, this is going to be almost impossible to execute immediately.
Kazuya and Steve is the hardest characters to play in this game. I can't even believe it.
Kazuya, Steve, Brian. I think Brian is the one people have the most gripes with when you say he's difficult. People get very emotional when you talk about Brian. But I would say Kazuya, Steve, Brian, Lee. I would say Reina is somewhere up there. Paul is somewhere up there. Orang is more difficult than people give him credit for. Heihachi is very difficult. There's a couple of characters we could mention here.
I can't even believe that shit. This motherfucker, 442 Hell Sweep, 442 Hell Sweep is hard? That shit is hard for you? That motherfucker doing this is hard? That shit easy as fuck to do. That shit's hard?
I'm sure GM plays an incredible Kazuya. He has amazing fundamentals, he has amazing movement, he seems to know how to wave dash. But I think when people say Kazuya is super difficult, they're talking to like a beginner. Maybe someone who's more on the casual side of things, or an intermediate player looking to pick up Kazuya. And then it's really, really, really difficult. The execution demands are super high. And then to someone like GM, mixing someone up with a 50-50 probably feels very straightforward because he's such an experienced player. And he can also use Kazuya's defensive stuff because he knows all of the frames in the game. So he'll be able to punish properly with Flash Punch, down back 1-2, etc. But one has to understand that when you are a beginner, the opposite is true. The character is not easy because I mix with Devil Fist mid, or a low Hell Sweep knockdown. That's actually difficult because I'm getting bombarded by people who are knowledge checking me with strings and very aggressive characters, and you don't really get the opportunity to do this 50-50. And then you have no panic buttons, you have to find your way out of blocking for 20 seconds and then going, can I interrupt here? And you flash punch. That's what makes Kazuya difficult. One has to understand that it's a double-edged sword being so simplistic in, is it a Hell Sweep or is it a mid? That also bites you in the ass because Tekken is a fighting game where you do not want to be predictable. It's actually better having a huge move list full of options to check your opponent with stuff. It's very difficult when you're super predictable. But again, someone who's incredibly good, like fighting GM, who's one of the best League players of all time, he'll be unpredictable with this 50-50 because he's very good with mix-ups, mind games, and timing. But that's due to having played Tekken for many, many, many years.
I'm not having no trouble doing this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at that shit.
Yeah, that's a good wave dash.
That shit easy as fuck. That shit is hard? That shit hard? This shit hard?
But of course it's hard. I mean, it's a just frame. Like, electric is a true just frame. And the way he's doing it here, this cannot be the first time he's doing electrics. I don't know a single person, doesn't matter how gaming genius they are, who pick Kazuya and for the first time they do double electric combos. That's a heavy muscle memory. Forget about doing a single electric, but doing the double electric into a jab, it's very strict. Like, it's much stricter muscle memory than people think. Doing a just frame electric and then waiting out the appropriate amount of time and then doing the second electric and then being able to connect to a jab or back to 2 takes people a long time to do it. So GM must have practiced. I wouldn't be surprised if he's played Mishima before. He has a very extensive history with Tekken. I heard about him for the first time during Tekken 6. So he's been at it for a while.
I don't even play Mishimas, bro.
He doesn't play Mishimas, but he can wave dash. He must have practiced this. There's no other way.
That shit hard? Look at that instant twin piston.
But it has to be said that, say he is a gaming genius, right? And he just picks this up and he can do it immediately. Let's say, for the sake of thought experiment, he has never practiced this. He's never practiced electrics, he's never practiced wave dashes, and he just goes in and he's like, what, this is supposed to be difficult? Was this supposed to be difficult? You would still be required, in my opinion, to have social awareness enough to say, you know what, I'm really good at this stuff. I have many years of experience. This is actually easy for me. But for your average Joe who's just picking this stuff up, this is going to be almost impossible to execute immediately. Because these are just frames, and wave dash is a very technical input, especially if I want to be able to do it on both sides. But that's just a social awareness thing of just knowing your own skill in something, and then knowing, well, how would that translate to someone who's more on the casual side of things, for example.
GM Fizzle. That shit hard on you? That shit easy as fuck. I literally did wave dash into instant twin pistons, bro. And you saying this motherfucker hard to play, bro. Hell sweet. Wave dash, wave dash, wave dash.
Well, I mean, when we compare like Kazuya's execution to your average execution in Tekken, it's some of the highest, if not the highest in the game. And then if we compare to other fighting games, it probably still stacks up really well. The hardest execution thing about Kazuya, in my opinion, movement is one thing, but it's actually the electric that is the hardest. It's being able to do that at command on both sides, and then also being able to block things that are -15 and launch on both sides. It doesn't sound like it should be that difficult, considering the fastest is 13 frames. And if you want to electric something that's -15, that's 2 frames of leeway. It's much harder than you think. And when you add some lag on top of it, because let's face it, most matches are online, it's really difficult.
Oh shit, this shit real fucking hard to do. Oh shit. Bomb, 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 bomb.
Is he gonna make an additional point, or is it I can do all of this stuff and it doesn't seem difficult? Or
bomb. So I said 1
is
plus
this
2.
the video?
What is it? What is it? So I said 1 plus 2. Yep.
Oh, I thought it was gonna do a breakdown with points. Like he's gonna talk about the 50-50. He's gonna talk about the Oki. He's gonna talk about. I just thought he started with the execution.
I don't even play this motherfucker. I did all that shit, man. Get this fucking character out of here. This motherfucker overrated. Motherfucker is not hard to play, bro. Get that shit out of here, man. Saying this bum ass character fucking.
I mean, one, again, I would assume he has experience with the character. It seems a little bit unbelievable to me that he just picks up and plays like that. Number two, if he does pick up and play the character like that, you need social awareness enough to get out of your own shoes and say, this might be because I've been playing Tekken for 20 years. Most people are not gonna have an easy time with a just frame. And being able to do that complex input on 2 sides, and let alone wave dash canceling the way we just saw GM do, or doing double electric combo routes. You need to be aware enough to go like, okay, this might be because I'm really, really good at this. I have an extensive history. Your average person will be able to pick up Fengwei or Asuka or Victor and do a bread and butter staple. But picking up Kazuya is going to be insanely difficult for your average gamer. That is just factually true. Yeah.
That's hard. Don't get my man. I don't even play him, bro. I don't play this motherfucker.
I'm a Kazuya main or a Mishima main, and then I've gone to other characters. I've played Lee, which is his character, which is a very difficult character. I would say not as difficult as Kazuya for a couple of reasons. There's more knowledge checks. There are more power crushes you can abuse, like Lee's back 3-4. Lee joins the crowd of, safe power crush heat engager, safe high in back 3-4. Stuff like that is very abusable. Very abusable. And I got Lee, and again, Lee is very difficult, but I got that character with little work to Tekken God Supreme. Much faster than I did Brian, Brian was my toughest one, but to be honest, faster than almost any Supreme I've gotten in Tekken 8. But is that due to me being, Lee being easy? Or could it have something to do with me having played for 30 years. A lot of people don't think about this stuff, but it certainly helps when you want to pick up a character. GM plays Tekken, and he's like, I've never played Kazuya, right? But I've played the game for 20 years. And for 20 years, I've been exposed to Kazuya as a character, the players playing him. For 20 years, I've observed how Kazuya players play, what the character can do, and how to counter it, right? That's something a lot of people don't think about. That's the stuff I apply when I say, you know what, one day I want to pick up, let's just say I want to try Zafina. Do you think, and I've never played her before, do you think I'm going to go into ranked and have no clue what to do? No, because I've played against a million Zafinas. I know what they like to do. I know the flow of the character. I certainly know what her 10 best attacks are, right? It's just, you can't beat that experience. That's the same when I picked up Lee. Like, I knew exactly what buttons Lee players use and what his strengths and weaknesses are because I've dealt with the character for 30 years. So it's like, you know, there's so many things here that I feel escapes GM a little bit that are very obvious explanations to everything that's going on here.
I'm the top 1%. I do.
But yeah, Kazuya, very difficult. You know, we have statistics, does atrociously online. There's all kinds of things we could talk about the character and how he operates that makes him so difficult. Execution is just one thing. I would say he's too simplistic and straightforward. That bites him in the ass. Everyone knows what he tries to achieve. And in Tekken, you really don't want that. You want people to be a question mark as to what you're doing. That's why Kuma and Zafina have the highest win rates. But yeah, Kazuya very difficult, but GM himself plays a sorry about this freeze frame. He plays one of the hardest in the game. Lee, we could talk about Lee difficulty as well. And Steve, of course, insanely. Steve could be the most difficult in the game.
Character, bro. You saw what I was doing?
We're gonna see if he says anything more worthwhile, but I can respond to. So far, it's been very, I don't know. Not too many points have been made, in my opinion.
Steve, I can't just play Steve and do all the Steve shit. I really can't. So he's hard to play. I can't just play Steve and do all that shit. I can't. Doing wave dash, hell sweep, wave dash 442, wave dash twin pistons. Try Nina sidestep one cancels. No, because I didn't say she was easy to play. I know she's not easy to play. This guy is overrated.
So Nina is harder than Kazuya.
Comes to how hard he is to play.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Nina is not as easy as you think. She's difficult, but she also has a million super abusable strings, knowledge checks, perfect throw game into dumb Oki. She's also OP on paper. And you can literally just spam downward 1-2. Even at the highest level of play, you can just spam downward 1-2 because it's an invincible string. That's a little bit far-fetched. It comes off a little bit like GM is a bit biased, in my opinion. And we all are biased, including me. But this seems a bit emotional rather than based on any thoughtful analysis, in my opinion.
I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I played this game for like 100 years, bro. I better be able to do all that easy ass Mishima shit in this game, bro. Cause back then that shit was hard. This game, there's no way that I've been playing Tekken for 100 years and I wouldn't be able to do all that bum ass easy Kazuya shit.
So he sort of realizes that I've been playing this game for 100 years, so it would be embarrassing if I couldn't do this stuff. But then he shoots himself in the foot immediately by saying, of course I can do this easy shit, but the reason you can do this easy shit is because of your extensive experience. It seems like the video is going to end now, and he is simply reiterating, this shit is so easy. I repeat, this fucking shit is so easy. I gotta say, the way you guys talked about this video, I thought I was gonna get something interesting to analyze, but this video, with all due respect, doesn't contain anything. It contains, this is easy, execution is easy. He also early on made the point, all you need is Devil Fist and Hell Sweep, but I would, again, just counter with saying that you, as an amazing Tekken player with incredible fundamentals, you can play around those two moves. But what is your average Yellow or Garyu going to do with those two moves against a rushdown king a rushdown Xiaoyu, a rushdown Shaheen, a rushdown Claudio, a rushdown Zafina, a rushdown Nina. What the hell? He will never be able to use the Devil Fist or the Hell Sweep. He's gonna be too busy blocking and eating throws. And having no clue, when is it my turn? When can I interrupt? Because guess what? No panic buttons. That's the reality of most intermediate players. They don't understand, when is it my turn? And if you don't know when it's your turn, you can't play Kazuya. But oh well, hopefully at least I said some things that made you think about if you felt Kazuya is an easy character. Hopefully I gave you some explanation as to what makes him difficult, why he has an atrocious win-loss ratio, why even after buffs, people are extremely reluctant to play him in high-level play. Oh well, and I hope you all have a great day. Take care.